Hi, I'm Johnny from SXS, and here we are at Wembley Arena for Kevin Hart's What Now Tour 2016. Our friends at Blackmagic have asked us to do a short video to show how we use their equipment and why it's so fantastic for this kind of show. So I'm going to take you around the venue now and show you all the equipment we're using of theirs and why it's so good. So we're at front of house position now at Wembley Arena, and in front of us here we've got a Blackmagic studio camera. This one's got a MFT mount to it. We went for that because then we can get MFT to EF lens adapter, which you can see here, which then allows us to use our EF lens stock. We've got quite a few EF lenses that we use for other things in the company, like our still photography and other video work, so that's a really obvious choice for us. This lens in particular is a 100 to 400mm, so that gives us a suitably long zoom range to do quite tight shots, as well as to go quite wide on a front of house position like this one here. In addition to that, we're using the fiber optic loom system. This is working great because when you work front of house, you've got quite a long cable route for a start, sometimes well over 100 meters. In addition, cable thickness is a massive issue because we like our cables to be thin, lightweight, and very easy to knock out on site. So down 2 fiber optic cores, we're running our comms, our tally, an HDSDI feed, plus we can also run an HDSDI feed back from the vision mixer so the camera operator can see what the program feed is. The system's working really well so far. It's very usable, very ergonomic, and the price point's fantastic because it allows us to have a lot more cameras on a show than we might have been able to using more traditional systems. So we're really keen on it for this kind of application. So we're now down at the pit here, and we've got another one of the Blackmagic studio cameras. This one also has a MFT mount, and we're using a Lumix lens on this one. This is a really good lens because it's got a zoom servo control. As such, we're able to use length control on this one, which is great because you get a much smoother zoom movement. This camera is really good here because it's quite low profile, it's lightweight, we can move it around easily, and much like the front of house camera, it also uses fiber optic. So we're backstage here by the LED video screen control equipment. So for that, we're running the signal through an ATEM 1ME vision switcher. The reason for that is it allows us to switch between the client's media server as well as our backup content and our test patterns. So it's a pretty simple function for it right now, but it's a great switching system for that. Below that, we're running the preview monitors from Blackmagic, which are fantastic. We're seeing a multi-view here from our Vision Mix, which is a separate system, as well as we can preview what's going up to the LED video screen as well. And below that, we've got the hyperdeck units. That's not being utilized on this show, but if the client were to ask for the show to be recorded, we could very easily stick some SSD drives in that and record the show straight off the mark. So right now I'm in vision mixing land. This entire system is being run from an ATEM vision mixing system, and we're using a range of different computers for different control elements. Firstly, our main vision mixing system right now is a touchscreen Sony Vaio laptop, and that's allowing us to switch between different camera feeds. In addition to that, we're also using the Blackmagic CCU. That's the laptop behind me here, which is also a Vaio touchscreen, and that's sending signals back to the cameras to control things like gamma, white balance, iris, and focus. That allows the person front of house to control all cameras with a global view of everything, rather than relying on each camera to rely on their own, admittedly subjective view with their own eyes in terms of white balance changes and so on throughout the show. So in terms of the camera sides, I said earlier that we're running down on a fiber optic link from the cameras down to front of house. We're then using Blackmagic's talkback system, which goes from the fiber optic feed. It processes the talkback, the tally, and the HDSDI. And then from that, we're plugging into the ATEM. And then probably the most important part of this whole system is the multi-viewer. We've opted to use a 55-inch Samsung LCD LED screen behind us here, and that allows our vision mixer to see all his inputs, as well as his preview output and his program output. Now, it probably looks a bit big and possibly a bit pointlessly big, but what's good about this is that the client's director or the promoter can come and watch the vision mix taking place at the same time. That means everyone's got the same view of what's happening, and anyone can, contribute or collaborate on how the next show should be vision mixed. So as you can see, the vision mixing system on this project's pretty much entirely Blackmagic end to end. That's worked out really well for us because the compatibility is excellent, and we've also found that the way they've designed the studio vision mixing system is very, very efficient, and it all dovetails together beautifully. We're using less adapter boxes, less scalers. It's just a much cleaner, simpler and faster system for us. So we're getting along with it great, the results have been really good, and the client's been very happy with the solution. So it's definitely a system that's here to stay for us.